Good morning, folks. Good morning. Yes, BJP seems to be winning Delhi. 42-28 are the leads right now, and I am quite thrilled about. Let's have more people join. We'll wait a few minutes. Meanwhile, please write in the comments where are you from. Audio is not clear. Are you just saying? Oh, really? Let me just check my settings. How about now? Can you hear me? Please check the audio now. It's better now. Okay, so thanks. Okay, welcome. Good morning, Ashir from Srinagar. Good morning, Supratit. Good morning. Oh, is it still not good? Let me change the mic there. Just give me 1 second. It should have been working. How about this now? Is this better? I think this should be all right. Okay, great. Back to basics. All this wireless stuff can be. Oh, great. So we will wait another couple of minutes. The results are really good for. Why are some people still not happy with the audio? This is the usual audio that we use. Are you sure? Because some folks are saying it is good, some are saying it is not good. Thanks. Thanks. So let's start. I think we can start with a basic look at what's happening in the markets. Um, the chart that you see on the screen is that of Nifty. No, sir, it is my voice only. Uh, Harshad is saying it is not the natural voice that we hear. It is my voice only. So we have taken about 3, 4 months for this correction to happen. Maybe there is a little bit more that is likely to happen, but somehow it doesn't seem like a panic correction anymore. So I mean, if I go and look at what's been happening on a daily chart basis, so we've essentially for the last almost 2 months now, we are just hovering around this 23,300. So something either has to really break down from this current position to, I'm not sure why. Some people are saying sound is better, some are saying sound is not good. Should I try my third mic there? Okay, just give me 1 second. I will try my another wireless mic. Give me a second. I think there's an audio issue. Or my pillow's not working. Yeah, man. The light. There is a problem with this as well. So we'll have to go with the wired mic. I think this has worked the best so far. Uh, we may go with this. Uh, Maybe it is an issue with the StreamYard that we are using. It is not a mic issue. Um, so let's go with this, and I'll talk more slowly to make sure that the point goes across. And uh, so what I was mentioning was that on a daily chart uh, we haven't really gone down, and the event will basically. Are you able to see my screen? I'm not getting any feedback. Yes. Okay. Great. Thanks. So the daily chart is sort of stabilizing where this is, and you will need a big level basis some event for the next level to come. I think the current less at these levels, whoever had to sell, whatever they have to sell is done, and now some fresh impetus has to come for the sellers to take the market down because the bulls are also fighting here. 1,000 point rally doesn't, come out of nowhere just for no reason. There is considerable buying support that comes in at this 23,000 word mark. And there is some sense that, government is also trying their best to kickstart the cycle again, wherein, they have, launched the consumption like lower taxes and also cutting rates, despite knowing that it may kick up the inflation. So I think government is taking some risks that we need to kickstart growth, even if it is at the cost of uh, some inflation. So that change has happened at the RBI, uh, but the fact remains that the new governor who has come in has unleashed, at least allowed the currency to depreciate to a level where we are again competing with the rest of the world, which was not happening in the earlier sort of. So we have allowed since the governor came in this move. I mean, we were at, if you see this longer picture, we were stuck at this since October 22, and a natural sort of you can say depreciation used to be 3 to 4% per year, and now it has gone to uh, you know 2 years, or rather 2.5 years, in which it was kept by selling US dollars. It was kept, and that is getting corrected to its norm right now. So that is the situation that is happening. Uh, sound is still an issue for a lot of folks. Let me do one thing. I'll log out of this and I'll log in again. Maybe the StreamYard, there is some issue on that. So let me do that. I'll try this and then I'll come back. Mm. So I have now done this. I hope it is better. Um, so the INR is basically recorrecting or readjusting itself to its long-term average, and that's what is happening in the recent past. I'll also show you the chart of gold. So gold is essentially uh, completely in the last 2 months um, has gone bonkers. We were at 74 or 75,000 just towards the end of December, and we are already at 85 plus. So this is a classic example of when the markets are not working. And let me superimpose the Nifty chart on gold. You can see that as soon as Nifty started to underperform, gold in Indian rupees started to take off. Uh, so this is something that has is a natural game for gold, and hence my emphasis on uh, uh, having exposure to gold and good exposure to gold. So that's where we are. As we record this video, there is news last night that Trump is going to add a lot more tariffs to a lot more countries. So Monday again, there is likely to be a gap down. The gift nifty is also showing a cut of more than 100 points, but that is probably, this game will continue till I think the prime minister goes and meets Trump, and maybe they will settle at some negotiated position. So this game of chicken and egg will continue to happen till then. So uh, the the things that the government can do right now in terms of trying to kickstart, they have done that. And now it is up to how the fund flows will happen in the markets, and whether the FIIs will maybe start to at least reduce their selling. As soon as the US dollar index starts to come off, let me also show you a chart of that. Um, so dollar index is so this is where we are on the dollar index chart, where this broke out, it took support, it is up there. If it continues to rally up, then there is no chance of FIs stopping their selling, because as the dollar becomes stronger, more and more pressure is there on US dollar investments overseas to come back to US dollar. Because right now, as the dollar strengthens, they lose money, uh, sitting outside the US dollar investment. But if this starts to break down, I think that will be a good chance for emerging markets to start attracting some capital. And that's where we can hope that at least some selling will stop in terms of the foreign fund flow. So with this sort of backdrop, let's open it up for questions. It is 11:15. We will take it to 12 o'clock and try to answer as many questions as I can from now onwards. Two rules. I cannot answer any stock specific query. There is no uh, sort of allowance in my current license to give you any advice on stock specific. And we cannot discuss performance because SEBI doesn't allow that as well. So these two things is something that we will not be able to pick up. On one-on-one, you can send us mail if you have any questions in this domain, but uh, on a advisory basis, we can't do that. Okay. So first question is there a reason for not going to cash in rotational strategies? Yes, Rahul is asking this question. It is by design. So let's say there is a strategy like let's say MI35. It is going to be invested in 35 stocks of the small cap 250 index always. That is the design of the strategy. Now, whether it can go to cash or not is a moot question because index never goes to cash, right? So can you imagine or can you think of, Nifty going to cash? No. Nifty will remain invested regardless of whatever happens in the market because it is the measure of the market itself. Similarly, rotational strategies are a subset of that particular uh, index that they're tracking, and they're trying to beat that index while doing so. So they will never accomplish. Uh, Raghav Gupta says, why FMCG not performing after budget? They again drop of 5 to 7%, even though news is favorable. So it is all a question of fund flow. At the end of the day, new funds need to go and buy FMCG stocks and push the selling back. That is not happening. So maybe it is because of, there are other better opportunities in the market, or FMCGs are overwhelmed to the extent that, there are sellers at every level. And of course, the performance of the FMCG companies has also uh, sort of demoralized the usual FMCG buyers. Uh, there is hardly any growth in that sector, and on a valuation front, if one were to look at from that point of view, they're still sitting at 50, 60 times earnings. So, I mean, it is a very difficult sell from a seller's perspective, selling of an idea perspective also. So, the sector will people automatically come into play at some point of time. Maybe uh, it will bypass one business cycle. That can also happen. There are many sectors which will not perform in each market run. So maybe FMCG is taking the rest for some time. Harshad says some daily factors like election results impact price movement. So instead of pushing rebalance from your side in the evening, how about running it after market opens the next day and then notify? So there is a platform restriction that we can only push notification rebalances end of the day. So I cannot do that in the running market because there is no reference point. The reference point at the end of the day is the closing price. So that probably cannot happen. Uh, Bhavin says, what is the ideal best momentum score for portfolio and for individual stock? 100 is the answer. That is the ideal. How do we enter into a strategy given it is monthly balance? Should we wait till the rebalance or timing does not matter? I think if you're bringing your money over a period of time, then it really does not matter. If you started with 10, 20% this month, you're bringing in some more next month, so on so it doesn't really matter. Ishan Jain says, when can we expect AIF launch? So we are at the very preliminary stages of this exercise. So hopefully towards the second half of this year is where things will come together. So maybe by end of the year, maybe but a bit earlier than that, but mm, certainly not before I would think third quarter. Satish says gold rate, World War III overvaluation, mindless sips, FI running away. Please tell the correction. Are we in a crash? If yes, when can we expect it? I wish I could predict the market the way you want me to predict it. I don't think there's anybody in the world who can predict what you're asking. Nikhil Teja says, do you follow the worst rank held? Like a threshold rank example falls with a 30th rank for a 20 stock portfolio. Depends upon the design of the strategy. I would not like to, maybe dwell more on this. But yes, the scoring of the strategy of the stock within the space matters. Taman Saha says it seems MI20 faces some whipsaw in last 2 weeks. Are you looking into it? There is no looking into it and correcting it. We are following a systematic plan wherein sometimes there will be some, air pockets. Sometimes you will have a smooth flight. It's all part of the game. Please understand that the involvement of the investor or the manager on each day, each week basis to tweak how you are investing is not desirable. That is exactly what we want to get away from. That that we tweak the system basis the last 2 weeks. We tweak the system basis the last two whipsaws. This will happen. These are like speed breakers. You cannot avoid them. Manu Bhav says my portfolio is 33% gold ETF, 33% MI Wealth Builder, and 34% in momentum US mega cap stocks, which you share every month. Does this make sense? Just needed your thought. This is a fantastic portfolio, I think. Wealth Builder, of course, will only cover mid cap and small cap. So there is a small gap of large caps not being there in your portfolio from Indian side that you can fill in by taking another strategy. Prateek says, what is the incentive for FIs to invest in India when US is doing good? I totally agree with you, and that is why we are seeing FIs, the money has been exiting. As soon as they discover that it is very difficult to chase growth in the US beyond a point, I think then the FI monies can start to trickle back here. Right now, as I showed you on this chart that you're seeing, the dollar index has been very, very strong since October. And that is the real reason why the major flow has been out of non-dollar based uh, territories. Okay, this is already done. Vidisha says, I'm in an NNF 50, India top 10 and MI20. I understand booking loss and exiting low momentum stocks. Any reason why we miss out on value of stocks by booking it? So, this booking some profit is basically a uh, something that can be done if you are doing something maybe in a more discretionary manner that my stock has gone up 20%, let me book 20% or 10% out of it. It could have been by design, which happens in Nifty, sorry, NNF 10, wherein every month happens in Evergreen also. Every month the profits from the profitable investments are taken off the table and redistributed across the strategy. So from that point of view, some of the rotational strategies like NNF 10, top 10, Evergreen, they will redistribute profits every month. For other rotational strategies like MI50, uh, MI20, MI35, there the reset happens every 6 months. So yes, we will miss out on some profit booking for sure. So, it's like if we were to look at profits at every rally, then we will never get a five bagger, which we do get once in a while. So the idea is it's a trade-off. You're saying I'm willing to give up some profit, but I want bigger profits when they come. Vivek says I invested in MI20 in Evergreen. Please help to advise good allocation percentage. If 100 rupees, and how much can I allocate in both? I really cannot give any personal direct advice how you should be allocating. But uh, in general, I can say keep your eggs distributed between large, mid, and small caps. That's a good way to go. Rohit says suggest to have a rebalance if there's a major exit needed and not wait for the month. We are already doing special rebalances if it is needed. Uh, so if you would have noticed the notifications in the last few days, Evergreen and Top 10 went through a mid period rebalance. Abhijit says people moving away from mutual funds after 2 years because they are buying small case, which is better after they have some idea on market. My bank made me invest in 9 funds. Now I cut down to three. Okay, I don't know what is the query here. Raghav Gupta says, is Kalyan Jeweler account, no individual stocks? I can really take this. But I mean, the kind of move that happened before the fall was also extremely high. So uh, can't label it as pump and dump, but uh, any stock that has been stretched too high will give a counter reaction also. I've already taken this very okay. Is there a strategy that is antidote to MI evergreen? I am not sure what you mean, antidote, but evergreen is looking towards CNX 200. So if you want to diversify away from that, if that is a question, then of course you need to look at some mid and small cap strategy. Sudhakara says, can consumer stocks perform better for next 3 to 5 years as interest rate cut starts? I wish I knew the answer. Right now, there doesn't seem to be that kind of a market move happening for the segment. Uh, so because you follow trends, as and when the trend is there, you ride that trend. Otherwise, you stay out of those stocks. I think that is another way to look at the markets. Amit says, do you think the time has come to invest in silver by looking at gold silver ratio and China providing economic stimulus? So precious metals are certainly in a bull market, and gold and silver both are looking good from that perspective. I usually follow gold because gold has relevance when it comes to central banks acquiring that, and it has a relevance in the monetary system. Silver is a tag along, and silver in some very small periods will exceed gold's returns also. But silver will remain very, very volatile. So, I mean, it's basically how you look at it. Uh, the next one is Karan. How can I invest with you? It says slots are full. You can drop us a mail, and as and when any slot will be open, the team will get to you. So you can just drop us a mail with your interest. Satish says, are you fully invested or sitting in cash? So obviously, rotational strategies are fully invested. Absolute momentum strategies are in cash, some near 50%, some even near 70%, and some near 40% or so. So, largely, you can say absolute momentum strategies are in reasonably good cash. Ashok says how momentum schemes are losing from September 24. Since October 24, we are losing as the market is coming down. All the results are available on the website. You can please go see there. I cannot discuss performance here. Mohammed says, do you recommend mutual funds or ETF if you are planning to play on a sector like auto or FMCG? You can do that, but then also have a plan how you're going to exit it at some point of time. Just buying a thematic or a sectoral fund is not good enough because once that sector will go out of flavor, then there should be a mechanism of getting out of it. That is something that is missing in most people's strategy. Okay, so Abhijit has a follow-up. I mean, isn't the data on mutual funds flawed that many are moving away from funds to small case? So small case is a very small part of this ecosystem. Probably it is in few single digit or maybe even less than that uh, when compared to the mammoth mutual fund size. Size uh, is also a factor that determines how flexible that manager can be in terms of investing or exiting stocks. For instance, if let's say a manager has 1,500 crores of AUM and he has to invest in let's say 50 stocks, then he'll need to invest maybe 30 crores per stock. So if you want to invest 30 crores in one stock, hopefully, you will at least want to go to a stock which has a market cap of, let's say, 1,000 crores or 600 crores at least. Because we don't want to become the elephant in the room where, the market cap is 600 crores and you have 30 crores. So you are like 5% of the market. So, so here basically, size matters. So as the mutual funds also become very large, 50,000 crores, 1 lakh crores, either they have to keep expanding the number of stocks that they have to invest because they cannot invest in 20 stocks with that kind of money. The moving in and moving out itself is a major task. That much liquidity is not there in the system. And once you see institutional deals happening back to back, one institution when it wants to buy, another institution has to sell because they can't buy from the market. So smaller players and small case mostly has smaller managers are more nimble in terms of their entries and exits, and they are able to go much lower in the hierarchy of stocks uh, to find the alpha. So hence some part of the smart investors are moving towards small case, yes, but really there is no competition as such. Okay. I'll request have one question so that others also get a chance. I'll take this one. Nikhil Teja has another one. Like, there is a wide gap in minimum amounts of small case. Example 1.9 lakhs. That's useful. So the idea is that you should be looking at what is the recommended uh, minimum that is there. We will look at the small case calculated minimum because that is dependent on today's constituents. If any large stock which is 2-3 thousand rupees worth comes into the portfolio next week, then your minimum will go up. So 2 lakhs is where I think for most strategies is what the minimum you should look at. Below that, you should not be starting actually. Okay. Sanjay says, I exited. Am I evergreen? When can I re-enter? What is the max investment allowed? Can it be done lump sum or should we go SIP? Ideally, do it in a SIP manner or invest more gradually. Maximum investment allowed there is about 30 lakhs, if I'm not wrong. You can read the product detail there. And when can I re-enter? It's your choice. Uh, I would ideally not like anybody to exit, but if you have exited, then you have to figure out how and when you can. I really cannot advise on that. How and when you should really. Um, Iman says during bear markets, can we have gold and rotational strategies at least some percentage to be little safer? So the strategy could be your equity component, and beyond that, outside you can do whatever asset allocation you like. I mean, you could look at equity allocation at 70%, add 30% gold outside that, or 50-50, or whatever you maybe choose to do that. So it's not necessary that gold be a part of the strategy. You can very well, buy it outside and treat the whole thing as your portfolio. The recommended size for MI Evergreen is 30 lakhs. Is there anything wrong if you allocate more considering the portfolio is already well diversified? It is a well diversified portfolio, but always remember the small case system is a market order driven system where market orders are sent. ETFs, the gold ETF is there, and there may be some stocks which, if 5,000 people want to send market orders, may not be able to take the order. There may be huge slippages. There is a reason why there is a recommended size, and the idea is that if you and it's true for any product, uh, there is a size limitation for every product. Even the top 50 stocks, you want to buy 500 crores of them, it won't happen. Even Reliance will move 5% if you try to put a market order of that kind. So there needs to be a limit. That's why we recommend that size. A little bit here and there is fine, but don't try to piggyback that 30 lakh limit to take it much higher. We are also mindful of people who may be misusing the system, and once we sort of figure out who all is doing that, we can always close their subscriptions as well. So please don't do that if any of you are doing that. I didn't mean you thought. Um, so we will take somebody with a question who is not asked. Speed. Okay, and I don't know how to say your name. Should I start investing in stock with 100% of capital as some good stocks are giving good breakout and good consolidation? It again depends upon your strategy. I believe you are looking at some discretionary swing type of strategy. Um, then, yes, you should fix what kind of percentage of capital can be put to risk for each trade. 0.5% is a reasonably good point if you want to do that. Deepak says, can SWP mechanism work for MI top 10 and NNF top 10 in case of investment of 10 lakhs in each small case? I have invested 5 lakhs in each. There is a partial withdrawal, partial exit plan that is available on the small case platform. So let's say you want to withdraw 50,000 rupees, so you can have a partial withdrawal. You can proportionately deallocate that much amount from each constituent, and you can have the withdrawal done on that. Mayank Seni says, are there any research papers on absolute momentum vis-a-vis relative momentum? I don't know if there is one, but possibly there would be. I'm not sure. I looked at these things a long time back. I haven't done recently, but certainly there have been papers on both styles. And uh, from my experience, I can tell you it is not a question of one better than the other. It is a question of what is more natural suited to you as an investor, as a personality. Are you more comfortable if stock goes to cash, but then there's a lag entry? Or are you more comfortable just trying to run your portfolio like an index and trying to beat the index? And given the results in different periods, I've seen sometimes absolute momentum is done much better, and sometimes relative momentum is done much better, uh, depending upon the kind of bull run that we have. Satish says, okay, I'll take somebody else's question. Neil Kamal says, should someone invest in NPS? I frankly, I can't really advise whether you should or not, but I can tell you my view. I would never do that because it is such a black hole. What is being done with my money? What is the kind of allocation happening? Who is managing it? I certainly don't want to go that way. Even for and anyways, those floods, breaks, etc. I don't know how much of that is there. So I've stayed away from that. A good financial planner probably is a better person to ask this. Suraj says when gold rises so fast and we are allocated less and process of increasing exposure, how one should go? Generally, gold goes sideways for many months and then comes one way. So one way, of course, is to do a SIP on gold. So you allocate whatever SIP you think is good for you to allocate to gold and just don't think about it. If you're going to do that for the next decade, it doesn't really matter if gold has gone up 30% in the last 1 year, because in the next decade it may go up 3x. So the the short term fear, I can understand. There's a short term fear after every rally that maybe I'm buying it at the wrong time. But again, so to take that timing out of your mind, just plug it out over a longer period. And whenever you find that gold has not performed for a year, 6 months, 2 years, that is probably the time for coming in with more bulky investments because it doesn't stay low for too long usually. Um, Anurag says, can you work on a strategy? Absolute momentum, stock 70, gold 25, cash 5. Uh, yeah, it could work. Basically, instead of going to cash, you are allocating 25% to gold. Uh, it may have the right results or may not. I really don't know because I haven't done this. Uh, Jaideep says SIPs always often lead to buying lowest performing stocks. Yes, that agreed. This is a design issue because small case was not designed just for momentum strategies. It was designed for strategies in general. So there is I accept your point that there could have been a better design, but that's where things are. Rahul says, in the AIF, do you intend to be set up with long only equity or will there be use of derivatives for hedging, Sarkar? We are a bit early in that discussion. Once we do firm up the potential of that product, I'll certainly inform you for that. Uh, Hashir is saying, why is US imposing tariffs on gold imports from China? So I think the US government is putting a tariff on everything from China. It is not just on gold imports. So, so that is the sort of the reason that is being given out. That it is not that they're singling out that gold from this country has to be tariff versus other countries. It is, I think, a blanket tariff that is happening on China. And anyways, I think there's not much gold going from China to US. Gold is usually going from the the London market or or from Swiss refiners towards US and towards China. So China is, I believe, a non-importer of gold, and China to US, I'll have to check. I don't think there's much of trade gold going that way because usually the flow of gold is west to east. That's what's been happening the last few decades. Um, Vipul says in your free strategy, can you use equal weight ETF instead of Nifty Bs? And when will be the next meetup? Okay. So we use equal weight ETF. Oh, you're saying equal weight Nifty ETF. Okay. We'll need to study this. If we can use the equal weight ETF and improve the strategy, we'll do this. Next meetup, right now, there is no plan, but we will do it soon for sure. Hopefully, um, next quarter for sure. We'll try for this quarter as well. But let me know which cities are more keen for us to come there. I was more keen to go to Hyderabad or Pune. These are two places where people have been calling me. But if there are more people from somewhere else, I'm happy to go there as well. Uh, okay, I'm sorry for your loss, but what is the question? Deep Negi says, should I wait for some good growth company having good growth number which has given 20-25% correction downside but still having a higher PV ratio greater than 150? I'm trying to understand this question. I can't. Sorry. Vidija says, when can we expect US stock strategy? So this regulator has very has very gray sort of outlook on this regard. Whether existing um, registered entities can or cannot offer US stock portfolios. Smallcase uh, has also some plans to launch US stock-based small cases, but then all this TDS matter came above 7.5 lakhs. There's the TDS and all that, so they also kind of didn't go forward with that. So hopefully soon, I mean, there'll be some more clarity. We are making some more clarifications. If they allow us to do this, I mean, we are ready. Our product has been running well in the experimental phase. So uh, maybe hopefully soon we'll. Sorry, Gahori says in momentum at times we buy a top and eventually book losses at markets are in uh, bear phase. Uh, how should we look at this? Recently, there have been many loss booking scenarios. Yes, it will happen in such bear phases where we'll have to sit back and have some chill beer and just wait for this period to go away. This is something that will happen. We can't have the cake and eat it too. So sometimes we will do very well when markets are doing well, and sometimes we'll have to sit back and nurse our wounds. This is but as per any long strategy. It's not just momentum strategies. Any strategy will have to take that period of consolidation and then move forward the next one. I am at the end of all questions. This has not happened in the last few times. This is very good. So any unanswered questions, you can now post it and I'll take it. I still have 10-12 minutes. Okay. Okay. If there are no questions, can you please educate us on how rotational momentum performed during sideways or bear market using Nifty? Okay, let's take an example. Let's go to uh, our website and show you what happened in. I hope you can see the screen. So we'll go to analytics. We'll go to compare strategy. You're saying Nifty. So let's say top 10, compare it to Nifty. And we will choose a period where the market was flat. So October 21 to March 23. I think this was a very dull period. So you are saying that Nifty remained flat and the strategy trailed by about 6 points in this period. Right. This was a completely flat period on that. Uh, if I were to sort of include the, so here you can see it more clearly. This was that period where the sideways market was there, and then once the market picked up, the strategy started to outperform on that front. So I hope you get a picture of how there can be rotational strategies. See, normally rotational strategies, whenever there will be deep market cuts, will probably underperform during those cuts because um, the first gap that happens is the steepest for momentum strategies because people will book those stocks that have the most gains and that usually are in momentum. So the first cut is very sharp and then gradually moves into some defensive stocks or go to cash in other strategies. Uh, okay, this we've taken. Okay, stairs. Why stairs are stopped? So we have taken a business decision to focus only on long only products, and that part of the business was very minuscule part of the entire overall ecosystem of weekend investing. So to focus more on long products and long term investors, we've let that go. Uh, that's the reason for stopping steps. The current users are still using it uh, till the end of their subscriptions, and we've also extended it for few quarters additionally so that they are able to gradually move out. Uh, on your personal capital, do you execute orders manually or do you have algos deploying your capital? In case of algos, is there a significant so algorithms in general, I will tell you that for orders, let's say we are running a PMS or AIF, something like that. Those algorithms will really benefit the manager because they can keep slicing the order and go through it in the entire day. So the order execution becomes more efficient for that type of deployment. For personal capital, and that capital is not so much, unfortunately. So manual orders are okay, or they can go through the small case if you don't want to do manual. Uh, I have to exit my small case to meet certain trade compliance rules from my employer. Do you provide exit strategy to? So you just have to press one button and say exit in your small case app, and it will exit everything. Nothing much to be done. Uh, uh, so I think we've reached the end of all questions. I'll just wait for 2 more minutes if there are any questions, and then we will uh, answer them or close this session. Mm, Let me know if you have any questions. The tally of BJP versus AAP is improving, so 45 to 25 now. So I think markets will have this positive tailwind on Monday, but of course, Trump already has that headwind. Uh, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. Health is all good. More relevant market questions if you have any. I guess we'll call it a day. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll be in touch again soon. Thanks. Bye.